Bernie Flowers ran for U.S. Congress in Maryland's 2nd District this past season, and Ed and I had a little something to do with it. He was assigned to the U.S. Air Force staff as the Pentagon was attacked in September of 2021. September 11th of 2021. He retired from the Air Force after nearly 21 years of active duty, having deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan, the Ukraine, and visiting 22 countries and 43 states in the performance of his duties. After his Air Force retirement, Bernie has worked as a project manager in the banking industry. In 2009, he returned to the Department of Defense as a civil servant, where he was part of the U.S. Cybercom. I'm sorry, I'm not used to reading that. Their initial staff. He later served as NORAD and such Central Technical Advisor at Fort Meade before retiring from the DoD. He participated in refugee resettlement efforts in the Afghans, Haitians, and undocumented migrants in defense of U.S. Southwest border. In 2021, Maryland's governor appointed him to the District 9 Judicial Nominating Commission, Howard County, Maryland. He recently authored his new book, Black Values Matter. Black Values Matter. And Bernie is just, as you hear, an outstanding resource for us as a community. My husband Ed has been saying to me in the time that I've been involved, we have to tap into where the big supporters are in Maryland. This doesn't work. Where are our big supporters? We've recently been on a contact with a man who says he thinks he could connect us with some money donors, because the rest of us are supporting our Republican Party here locally, going to all these fundraisers. We've gone to his, we've gone to yours, and we just don't have the resources to do it big. The MDGOP and other organizations like that are tapped into the builders, the contractors that have bigger money. Well, so Ed and I talked with someone recently who basically said, we can tap into those people, but we don't get an ear from them unless we bring them quality candidates. They've supported Ehrlich through these terms where he didn't win. They don't want to throw their money after candidates that can't be effective. So when we get personalities like Bernie Sanders, he did not make it in the congressional district of 2.
How about Bernie Flowers?
Bernie Flowers.
He is certainly not Bernie Sanders.
When you come to my club, we deal with my language deficits. When we have a candidate like Bernie, we hold on to him and help him to decide where is he going to go and what is he going to do for us, because he's a star among us. Thank you.
I don't know how I'm going to live up to that. You know, is there anybody in here that doesn't know me? Because I was over at the Severna Park Women's Club, and I'm giving the same. Oh.
Somebody over there.
Well, we just met. We were just talking just a minute ago. Yes. Sir, I was supposed to make my way over to you, and I didn't because I was running my mouth. What's your name?
Rob Wagner.
Rob?
I was at the meeting.
Oh.
Smart Park.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you were.
Yes.
So we didn't get to shake hands.
I invited you, but I wasn't there.
Well, Amy.
I'm very successful turnout.
Amy, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else that I don't know? Ma'am? And you are?
Jackie.
Hey, Jackie. I'm Bernie. And ma'am, have we met? We met before.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. Well, look, how did all this start? I was a very angry civil servant working at the Department of Homeland Security, wasting your money. And there was a pig roast that that Governor Hogan had, and some of the folks over in Howard County, You guys know Beth Lawson,
Yep,
and you guys know Ray Serrato.
yep.
I said, man, you should come to this big roast with the YRs, the what do you call it, the Young Republicans. And so I did. And I met Heather and Ed, and we got to talking. And I got, no offense, got to bitching. And you know what Heather said to me? Why don't you do something about it? Why don't you do something about all these ideas that you have? And you know what I did? A couple months later, I quit that fancy civil service job. And that was the 18th of January of last year. And the 19th of January, I marched myself over to the Department of Elections over at the state and signed up to run for Congress. Now, a lot of you guys saw me around because my goal was to take down Dutch Ruppersberg. I don't know him personally, but I've got had a lot of dealings on K Street, and I know how it all works over there. And I figured it's time for him to go down after 18 years. So he was over here as the congressman. As I remember, he'd been in office for a long time, and me and a few other people decided he was the target, even though I did not live here. And I spent a lot of time here. But what happened is I got redistricted right in the middle of the campaign. And I found myself having to shift and go over to mostly Carroll County. And that's okay. I was there last night. But the idea is that I'm a conservative, and I didn't like the way things were going. I've got 34 years behind the fence. I know what's going on the inside, and I think I have a body of knowledge that can be useful to the American people, and specifically the people of Maryland. So, Republican women of Anne Arundel County, thank you guys for having me here. You guys are going to hear a lot of things that you've heard before, because all of you know me. That's okay. Black Values Matter. That book over there should be called American Values Matter. Why did I write Black Values Matter? Well, man, I'm loud, aren't I? I don't even have a microphone. I spent a lot of time in the military. I got a little deafness, tinnitus here, so I talk kind of loud, forgive me. But black values are American values. Anybody believe in patriotism? Upward mobility? Family? School choice? Those are black values, not just American values. It's all of our values. And this separatism that is being pushed by the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, this doesn't work for me. My book is about American values, and a lot of you have already bought it and read it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. But the Democrats treat the black community like generational support. They don't give anything for their votes. They just gotta, just assume that they're going to, 95% of black people are gonna vote for. Well, I'm not that guy. I expect something for my vote, not just talk. So, I'm tired of black people being used as an unwitting hammer to herd the rest of the community into tyranny. And that's really what's going on. We need to make everybody aware of what's happening. My book is just a small part of that. Last week, I met Dr. Ben Carson at CPAC. I was giddy like a schoolgirl. Shook his hand, got a picture. But the weirdest thing is, even though I ran for Congress, I'm walking around there, people knew who I was. It was shocking. And the weirdest thing was that there were some actual black conservatives there. And they knew who I was. Young people in their 20s. Hey, and this is like a paraphrase, and I'm going to move this out of your way just a little bit. Bernie, I know who you are, and I like what you're doing. And I was quite shocked, because I'm a country boy from backwoods North Carolina. That's not the way things are supposed to work. When I'm walking around CPAC, I must have been done like 10 interviews. Dana was there, Mary was there. We had a great time. And we got to keep that up. So you guys talk about the Republican Party being down right now. Well, when things go down, eventually they gotta go back up again. And that's what we gotta do. We gotta have some courage. We gotta have some fortitude. We gotta get out there among our folks. Not just people who look like us, people who might look differently than us. By the grace of God, I was born in America. I'm proud to be here. And there are a lot of people that are proud to be here. But we gotta stand up and let everybody know we ain't scared. That's the real bottom line. And that's why I wrote Black Values Matter. I'm gonna give you a book quote. It's from my book, so I get the quote. Blacks are among the most conservative ethnic groups in America. Somebody needs to tell them about it, because as a group, we're not voting like it. Most blacks I know are concerned with basic common sense issues like crime, inflation, the economy, taxes, and school choice, and vaccinations. Most blacks I know want equal opportunity, not equal outcomes. Republicans are interested in basic common sense issues, while progressive Democrats concern themselves with trending social issues. The Democrat Party treats black Americans as voiceless, reliable, generational support. The Republican Party has not done much better in its treatment of blacks, offering few viable alternatives to progressive Democrat policies. Liberal policies sound great in political campaigns, but after several decades of unbroken support, what has the greater black community received in exchange for decades of undying reinforcement of progressive causes? Maybe it's time to audit our one-sided political support. I offer that America's black civil rights movement has been conflated and neutered through association with the issues of supposedly oppressed minorities. And this essay is my attempt to help black voters understand that black values matter. I got another quote for you. Anybody ever heard of Dr. Thomas Sowell?
Yes, of course.
I'm a big fan.
Of course.
I go back to the 70s when I was a kid. My dad beat it into my head to listen to this guy. And it worked. Prominent Stanford senior fellow Dr. Thomas Sowell says that black votes matter. He believes that if Republicans could get 20% of the black vote, Democrats would be ruined. From what I can see, that figure would apply in Maryland as well. If blacks continue to give their votes away to the Democrat Party with zero accounting for what the Democrats do with those votes, black people, especially those in the inner city, should expect the same result. Let's make those Democrats earn our votes. Let's hold them accountable with their promises and their actions. What have they done for us concerning crime? What have they done for us concerning schools? What have they done for us concerning culture? What have they done for us lately? Dr. Sowell thinks they've not done much, and I agree with him. Conservative minorities exist in Maryland, and they're in the churches, and they're in the synagogues, and they're in the mosques. But until we, as conservatives, go out and lead them, and go out and find them, they're going to sit by and quietly watch us flounder and watch us lose. Let's talk about the Republican Party. Why did we do so poorly in the last election? We were not transparent. We were not civil with each other. We were not unified with each other. And the voters showed us what they thought of us. You know, the governor, he wasn't supportive of the Republican nominee. We were fractured. What did we get? About 70% were for Danny Gordana and 70% for the Democratic nominee and 30% for Danny Gordana. For Senate, 70%, about 30% we got for the Republican Party. We can do better. There are a lot of conservatives here, but I can tell you for a fact that there were people in this state that were so divided they filed lawsuits against each other. There were police reports of people physically assaulting each other. What happened to Reagan's rule? Thou shalt not speak ill of another Republican. You know, if you got a problem, if you're not man enough or woman enough to walk up to the person and look them in the eye, then that problem is not that important. And if you got something you need to say, then say it in private, but don't say it in front of the Democrats, and especially not in front of TV cameras. We can do better. So, with that said, you know, I was in Carroll County last night giving out this same speech, and there was about 70 people came out and polled to, you know, just start a new Republican club, the Republican Club of Carroll County. Mercedes Mobius, I don't know if you know her, but she is a star out there, and she's a hard worker, and you know, if I can, I'm definitely going to link you guys up with these people, because I get a chance to go all over the state just because I'm that kind of dude. But I know a lot of people that you guys might not have met, and they're trying to do the same thing you're trying to do, which is raise the conservative movement. Not just Republican. There's some blue dog Democrats out there that would probably vote with us if we acted right. So again, we need Democrats and independents with us. We didn't convince enough of them to vote with us. We didn't set the example. We did not lead. And as I said before, from my background, lead, follow, or get out of the way. And we didn't do that. Mary knows what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
So we look like the Hatfields and McCoys, bickering with each other, sending each other to jail. There are pending lawsuits in Carroll County right now based on people who are angry with each other, and they all call themselves Republican. Now, how did we get to this point? Anybody go to the Republican Gala? The last one back in the fall? I was there too. Gala. Gala, you know the party, the big party, the fundraiser.
The one they call Spark?
Yes.
Yeah, right, that's the red, white, and blue.
There you go. So, correct me if I'm wrong, because I spent $200 for a ticket, and I bought my campaign manager one too. So that's $400 down the drain. Where we were, we were in the cheap seats, way in the back, and the more important people were up front, kind of segregated. Was it not? Was it not? What do you think?
I don't know, I always end up in a corner somewhere, so.
Well, and here's what I saw. Me and Hollis, for $400, way off in the back, and the cheap seats, and I'm sitting here thinking with 500 people there, at least $200 a pop. Where's the young folks? Where are the people with children? Where are the people that we're expecting to vote for us? This was a party of the elites. This is the Republican Party telling the populace that we're still elites. And what we should have been doing is making those ticket prices just a little bit lower, so regular folks with children, people that are paying college tuitions, people who have daycare to pay for, they don't have $200 a pop to pay for political stuff, but they want to be included. And so then, when the time came to vote, I was sitting there talking to Hollis. Young people aren't voting out for this because we didn't reach out to them. And I was right. We can do better. Now, mind you, the MDGOP leadership has changed out, and we got to give them a chance. Right? Amy, do you remember when back in the summer, maybe in the fall, we were having these Zoom meetings?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I have to correct myself, because you know where I'm from.
The Unity
The
Party?
Unity Party. And Heather, Ed, Amy, and a few others, we would get together on Zoom and plan the demise of the NDGOP.
Well, what we were doing was planning to get rid of your hair.
At the time he was the
Same
NDGOP.
thing.
Well, that was easy since you didn't renew.
That's true, but we didn't know that.
We didn't know that then, so that was easy.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't just about that. It was about the fact that they were running the place like a fiefdom.
Yeah.
They weren't listening to the central committees, and they certainly weren't listening to the clerks. And so we got together on Zoom. I was proud to be a part of it. Every Sunday afternoon, we eventually got together and put together several candidates to include Gordana, and we challenged the status quo. And Dirk here, did anybody go to the convention?
Yeah.
Anna was there. Mary was there. Heather was there. And he was banging the podium and cussing and carrying on, and like he had something to hide. I thought that was kind of odd since we're supposed to be transparent. But anyway, bottom line is I'm proud of that group because we stood up for our principles. I can tell you right now, I was supposed to, run for, MDGOP, vice chair, whatever. And at least 5 people walked up to me and said, hey, why don't you just go ahead and run and we'll support you. And, we're there at the convention and, I made commitments to my team. And I told them, I said, Gordana was our nominee. She was the lead. And I told one specific person, I go where she goes. We have to have unity and we have to have integrity if we're going to win anything. You can't just back down when somebody presents you with some adversity. And that's what the people that we expected to vote for us saw in us. They saw weakness. They saw lack of intestinal fortitude. And we're not going to win until we show some people some integrity. Now, mind you, some new people have come in, and we got to give them a chance. But if they don't show integrity, if they don't show intestinal fortitude, it will come out in elections and we will lose again. So, am I planning on running for something? No, I'm just selling a book. But in that book is about American values. And if somebody decides that they want me to run for something, we'll see. Everything's open right now. But right now, I'm just going to go around to different clubs. I've been to a bunch of them, and spread the conservative message. I'm going to wave the flag because that's who I am. I was born here. I'm proud of this country. I've defended it. And for the grace of God, I could have been born in the Congo. I could have been born in a place where I had to mine lithium so some rich yuppie could drive an electric car. But instead, I'm here with you guys, defending our country. Call me a civil servant, call me whatever you want to, but I ain't backing down. And that is the attitude that we all have to have. We have to emanate that spirit and let other people see it. And they'll notice. Those people in those mosques, those people in their, what do they call it, the Jewish places, the synagogues, the people in the churches, they are, a lot of those folks are conservatives, just like us. They're trying to raise their children. They're trying to pay their taxes. My next door neighbor is Jewish. Great guy, he's my drinking buddy. He pays $17,000 a year for his one child to go to daycare. This guy's 32 years old, him and his wife are working. And here's the bad thing. He told me while we were having drinks the other night that somebody at the daycare was giving the kids, what's those gummies that make kids sleep? Melatonin gummies. And the next daycare was going to charge him $22,000 a year for his little 3-year-old kid to go to daycare. Those are the kind of issues that we should be taking on because the Democrats don't care.
It's time to switch to that.
It is. And that's what he was pretty hot.
You could be going to private high school for that.
There you go. But we need to take on those issues for normal people. And if we take on those issues for normal people, they will follow us. It's called leading. And we did not lead. We were more interested in arguing like the Hatfields and McCoys. We got to stop that. We got about 2 years to get this right. I want to be a part of it. I don't know if I'm going to run for anything. Maybe I'll just carry some signs or whatever, or pass out some flyers, but I'm going to be a part of it somehow. And I live in Elkridge, I live in Howard County. And again, I got redistricted, so I found myself driving up to Westminster and Manchester and Hampstead to give speeches pretty much every night. And I did that because I know what's coming. There are people outside this country that's been trying to take us down from day one. And you know what I'm talking about. Anybody ever heard of Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum? I read The Fourth Industrial Estate, his book. You need to know your enemy. These people don't like us. They want your house, they want your car, they want your lifestyle.
You want your kids.
Yeah, but they don't have to come through me to get it. So, wake up, see what's out there. How come this thing in East Palestine, Ohio, Palestine? How is it that the President of the United States didn't show up?
How is that? Good question.
He was over in the Ukraine giving money to people that we don't know, who are not taxpayers. Oh, matter of fact, he's got a plan to pay the civil servants salary in the Ukraine. Not your civil servants. He's gonna take your money and give it to them. I don't like that. I got a problem with that. Now, why do I know so much about all this stuff? A lot of you all heard this before, but again, I got 34 years behind the fence. I was over at NSA as NORAD and U.S. Northcom's technical advisor for a very, very long time. And my access to NORAD and U.S. Northcom allowed me into Cheyenne Mountain, allowed me into some of these facilities that most people can't get in. I've spent my whole life defending this country, and I will continue to do so. But I'm doing it in a different way now. But you guys need to understand that FEMA was supposed to be there within 12 hours, and they weren't. What about Pete Buttigieg, whatever?
Where was he?
You tell me. Maybe he was back home taking care of his kid.
Yeah.
All I know is he didn't do the job. And there's a lot of people not doing the job.
None of them do their job.
There you have it.
None of them know how to do their job.
I don't think they do.
Not one single person in that cabinet is qualified for their position. Not one.
You know, when COVID was happening, and you know, it's funny how nobody's apologizing for COVID. I got COVID. I haven't taken the shot though. Most of y'all know that. But the funny thing is, so here I am working as DOD's guy at the Department of Homeland Security. I was responsible to hand big checks over to DHS because they didn't have the infrastructure to handle the things they needed to handle. So they have liaison officers that kind of make everything work better. But during COVID, DHS had 80% of its workforce working from home. So there was nobody there to do the job. I was 3 doors down from the Secretary of Homeland Security. Used to see him every day. But the bottom line is when the Afghan refugee thing happened, remember that? Now think about this. Let's do some country boy math here. There was 79,000 people we bought from over there. And in order to acclimate them to American living, you remember, these people are coming from Afghanistan, so they don't speak English. They don't know our culture. They see somebody's ankle and they lose their damn minds. So, bottom line is, $1,400 a day times 79,000 people equals $110 million a day of your money that was unbudgeted. Now we owe $31 trillion to the Federal Reserve. You know how much money that is? It's about $92,000 for every man, woman, and child. You're carrying a mortgage that you don't know about. And if the Federal Reserve ever pulls their card, we can't pay that off. Looks like to me that our enemy is our president, because he's trying to bankrupt us. Sending money and weapons over to the Ukraine at a rate that is absolutely unprecedented. And so here I am, 3 doors down from the Secretary of Homeland Security with all this access to NSA, all these 3-letter agencies, and I got to see it all. And I just decided I've had enough. I'm on the wrong side of this. So, Heather and Ed had reminded me 6 months prior that I needed to get off my ass and, do what I said I was gonna do. So 18 January, I left my comfortable federal job of last year. And 19, I was down there at the election headquarters signing up to run, and I haven't stopped since. As soon as I lost my primary, I wrote this book in about 90 days. And I kind of took out a little bit of my frustration. For example, Black Lives Matter. Well, if you notice, I said Black values matter. So that kind of catches people's attention. I think it's kind of funny, just to piss them off. But anyway, I'm way off script. And Heather's going to give me the stop sign pretty soon, because it's getting a little bit late.
Save some time to sell some books.
All right. Well, yeah, they're over there, and I hope you'll buy one. But the bottom line is all about American values. And black people are just as patriotic as anyone else. And this thing that you get from BET. Anybody ever watch BET?
No.
I hate it. I stopped watching a long time ago.
What is it?
Black entertainment television.
Oh, yeah.
So think about this. 6'3", 250 some odd pound Tyler Perry running around in a dress and waving a gun. And a lot of people that don't know black people think that we're all like that. I take offense to the idea that somebody would, think my culture was like that. But BET is not owned by black people. BET is owned by Viacom Corporation. The Viacom Corporation is corrosive and corrupting. So I recommend y'all don't watch BET. I hope you don't, because I do. Whenever it comes on in my house, my wife watches it every once in a while, I leave the room. Because I think that they're trying to destroy America. So with all that said, how much time I got? You said about 5?
I think we should wrap it up pretty soon so you can sell some books, and they want us out by now.
Oh. Well, look, the bottom line is that some of the stuff that I said here is right on the back page of that book. Everything you want to know is there. Everything you want to know about me. There's a QR code on there. If you want to wave your phone up there, you can buy it directly from Amazon, or you can buy the book there. But just remember, you're not alone. There's a whole lot of people like me. They just need to be led. And it's the clubs. Think about this. The clubs in the Central Committee, the grassroots people that are going to make the difference. We just need to lead. And our last group of leaders, they spent more time arguing with each other than anything else. But the bottom line is, the pendulum always swings the other way. When it goes this way, it's got to come back. And so I'm counting on 2024, that pendulum's going to swing back our way, and we need to be ready.
One question, one comment.
Yes, sir.
Not to make you more unhappy with Tyler Perry. He just made a move to buy majority ownership of BET. That was in the Wall Street Journal today.
Is that so?
Wear your dress, wave your gun, and own the network. Or at least a majority ownership.
I despise.
He made an offer on local government.
I despise Tyler Perry with all my heart. And you just made me even madder. Thanks.
He's going to be over BET now.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you think, I mean, it's pretty clear from CPAC that the leading candidate for 2024 is Donald Trump for president. How do you think that's going to affect what you're doing and the racism and things that we need to do in America?
I think that it will be great. And here's the thing, and here's why I say this. Again, the pendulum is over here. Regular folks, as I go through Maryland, and as I travel around and I talk to people, because I'm that guy that's always talking to people, they're tired of this mess that we got. We're wasting money, we're spending money like drunken sailors, the federal government is not responding to our crises, there's all kinds of crazy things. Do you know there was like 110 train derailments last year, and we didn't even know?
Yes.
And
Any last week?
Yeah, there was like 2,000
Yeah.
There's like,
Yeah, but I guess if
three
there's
a day.
3 a day, does that make sense? What
It
a
doesn't.
horrible industry.
These are not accidental. In my world, there are no coincidences. Think about this. Back to my background. Spy balloons. All right? 13 years in NORAD. Okay, I used to go there every 45 days and go into Cheyenne Mountain. There's a 2-star general that sits there that has shoot-down authority to anything that threatens us within 200 miles of our international limit.
And he should have shoot down authority.
Why did that 2-star general not shoot those balloons?
The only thing that's gonna stop him is number higher.
Somebody above the 2-star level, and you know what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm saying, somebody told him not.
Somebody told them not to. And that means the first place they went was Mount Shore Air Force Base, where they got nuclear weapons. There's no accidents here. So I say, you know, I think the vote still counts. So we got to get out there, fight the good fight, be prepared for whatever comes your way. And, you know, if we're going to go down, they're going to get a scrap from me. So watch that World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab and his people, they want us to eat the bugs. And I ain't eating the bugs. I like beef.
I have a question, Bertie. How are you being received overseas? How's your book being received by the Black community?
You know, I haven't gotten much feedback from them. I need to get out there more. I was on a Lexington panel just recently, and it was very well received. A lot of people don't know about my book, especially even in Howard County where I live. But what I'm doing is, this week I am in the process of uploading my audiobook to Audible. And a lot of people like to read, that they like to listen. Put it on Kindle. And if you want to reach Black people, you don't give, no offense, don't give them voice. Give them something to listen to. And that's what I'm trying to do. I spent $2,000 of my own money to make this happen, but I'm committed to this. You know, this isn't about making money. This is about getting the conservative message across. Because if we don't do it, we're going to be in a bad way come about 2030. And, you know, World Economic Forum, Agenda 2021, 2030, y'all need to pay attention. It's all out there in plain and open sight. So I say, educate yourself, prepare yourself. And I'm going to do the same. And I plan on meeting you on the other side, because we can win in 2024. We can make a big impact. We can't beat the governor, but we can fill that place up with a lot of elected officials if we do the right thing, if we lead. So,
we have a few minutes to go by and walk. I wanted to wrap up by reminding you that I feel like I didn't finish with this article about the new event. It is this coming Saturday. I'm sure you can still get in. That's 10 to 4. And if there's anybody among us that would really like to hear Pompeo, there might be an opportunity to get in a last minute thing.
Early.
No, Pompeo.
She switched parties, she switched on us.
I'm
She switched to this.
speaking, I'm attending an event with Pompeo speaking, and I had made an attempt to sell a few tickets among our group, and nobody was takers. The gentleman who is organizing it said he can fit in a few more people. So if there is anybody that's particularly interested in that, it's this coming Saturday in the evening of the 11th. So let me know right away.
Membership drive, $45 to become a member, a regular member, $30 for associate members. Gentlemen can be associate members.
ma'am?
What is your thing, what is your feelings about the J6? What's going on?
Any reporters in here? Reporters?
No.
It's a false flag. There were federal agents all over that place and egging people on.
Well, you know, the convention isn't anymore, they go to the corner high, you know, there's people out there raising, fundraising for these people that have lost everything.
Yeah, I went to the one that, we were there.
Yeah, well,
We got to protect and defend those people because they're in jail. Their due process has been taken away. And that is not cool. That is not American.
no.
And so we can do better. But most people go about their lives. I mean, Julian Assange is still in jail.
I know.
It's terrible. Our constitutional rights are gradually being taken away, and we're letting them do it.
That's why I was waiting for this event, I was thinking about Constitution class.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you all for coming, and I'll call this an adjournment.
All right.
Do I have a move to adjourn? Do I have a move to adjourn? Adjourn. Thank you. We also.
I've been in this country all my life. I think it's 6 years ago.
About 2 minutes. What do you think about it?
She's coming up here now. About his pledge to reduce murders by 20%. The reporter asked me, he said, and he just said, and then let him get away with it. Works. But yeah, it was just great guy. Matter of fact, he lost his lawsuit. I was still working for the government, and I was right behind him. So yeah, there's a lot of people. Yes. And you're there all the time. You're there to pick up Christmas. Chris is so nice. There's trouble I've been through many times. Many times. He wanted me to take He wanted me to come in the ball. Give him my tickets. And I said, Chris, you realize I gotta drive an hour and ball. He was. And
But it illustrates a different way of life. Well, you told me once ago you had to be married with your brother. That's a problem. But we all have to learn to I'm learning to grow too. And so, bottom line, you guys have to get and I think
Thank you, you as well.
conducive, or better yet, they're working on our message. So
Okay.
so I was really but I'm hoping to go back out there and just get the word out. So we'll just keep trying to
Jim.
Yes. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Alright. We're coming. I already come. Thank you very much.
very active. Yeah, and forgive me, I got this candy in my mouth. But the bottom line is that's the so if I can help you, I probably
Yeah, particularly now while you're.
But I'll
Yeah.
know a lot of people. Willie was there forever. And the thing is, that guy was so smart. And then, let me tell you what he did. So he did a lot of properties. Willie used to check on the You got my card. If you want to talk more about this crazy stuff, that's it. Make it down.
Last chance to get the book, last chance. Everybody wants Bernie's book.
Yep.
That state's starting to need a little help.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.